A 6-mile wilderness preserve trail winds its way north, bisecting St. Joseph Peninsula. To the east lies St. Joseph Bay, one of Florida's 42 aquatic preserves. And to the west, the waves of the unrelenting Gulf of Mexico crashing against the state's largest sand dunes. "14 primitive campsites dot this slender landmass that challenge even the most experienced backcountry campers."
It's crazy how it looks like a bomb went off.
So after 11 years, we've returned and have all 1,700 acres of this wilderness preserve to ourselves.
Couldn't imagine hiking this trail during warmer months, especially if you're trying to get to a campsite. It's pretty brutal.
Welcome to St. Joseph Peninsula. Welcome to Green Ridge Outdoor Adventures. It's been a long 11 years since we were last here. Among the towering dunes and pristine beaches of St. Joseph Peninsula. We were kayak camping newbies back then, but now we've spent countless nights of primitive camping and paddled hundreds of miles throughout the southeast. So we're here for 4 nights in October to take advantage of the warm salt water while winter is just around the corner. But our return nearly didn't happen.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Kate Snow.
Good day, everyone. We're coming on the air to bring you the latest on Hurricane Michael, now bearing down on the Florida Panhandle. It is now a Category 4 storm, although moving close to 5. The most powerful storm on record ever to hit this part of the Gulf Coast.
Almost 6 years to the day, the record-breaking Hurricane Michael devastated the Florida Panhandle. Making landfall at Mexico Beach, the storm's eye passed just west of the northern tip of St. Joseph Peninsula. The immense storm surge tore right through the peninsula at Eagle Harbor, splitting it in half, cutting off access to the 9 northernmost miles of the state park. Since then, the state has spent over $13 million to rebuild the road and restore the coastline. And this year's trip almost had the exact same outcome.
After Hurricane Helene gutted the region less than 2 weeks ago. And now another major hurricane, Milton, is less than 48 hours from landfall in the same region, turning
Category 4 Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton hit the Florida Panhandle in the 2 weeks prior to this trip. But somehow St. Joseph Peninsula was spared. Leaving early that morning, we drove over 300 miles to Port St. Joe, Florida. we checked in at the T.H. Stone St. Joseph Peninsula State Park Ranger Station.
Just park and walk in. We have a safety briefing to go through.
Hey, how are y'all today?
Hi. How are you?
Good.
We are here to camp in the primitive
You are? Okay.
backcountry.
I'm going to get you to pull over there.
Okay.
Come in by the rail and we'll get you fixed up.
Thank you.
Look at that. Yeah.
Is there a Judy here?
That would be, they call it a stand. Come back when you
This is the number here, right? To call you at.
All right.
Okay.
09.
I'll go.
520.
After checking in, we drove north to the Wilderness Preserve Trailhead parking lot. Whew. So, just had the safety briefing, and it was a little chaotic, but all the women in there were really, really nice. They were very helpful in getting us through the check-in process. Even though the website says to make reservations, when you try to call, you can't make reservations. They just told us to show up when we got here. So that's what we did. Luckily, we are camping at Site 14, so luckily there's no one there. They said a couple of the first sites into the backcountry were taken, so I think what we're going to do is spend the 3 nights at 14 and then maybe the last night a little closer to the truck. So we are parked at the parking lot. Just made a bunch of trips back and forth, and I made at least 4. I think Josh made it in 3. So he's always a lot more efficient than I am on these trips. So parking the truck here at the parking lot, and now we're gonna make our way up to campsite 14. The winds are 20 to 30 miles an hour and pretty choppy out there on the bay. So it's a north wind, so we're paddling essentially right into the wind. So that should be fun. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, Wednesday, 1:41 p.m. We are loading up our kayaks to paddle the 5 or so miles to our site. It's about a 20-mile-per-hour wind coming almost dead head from the north-northeast. I'm currently drifting probably about half the speed that I'm going to be able to paddle, so it's going to be a long trip. Here we go. celebratory beer after quite the day. I was up there in tough paddles. Oh my gosh. At first I was thinking, this is not going to be our worst paddle, but it's going to be annoying. But the waves were incessant. The wind is incessant. Yes, it's been crazy. So we're going to set up camp, join the brewski here, make some dinner. Got some shrimp and sausage, a little olive oil, Yingling Light, and rice, beans, tomatoes. Oh, Goya sauce for our protein. It's going to be a good dinner. Not sure if you can see it, but I've got salt everywhere. On my face, of course, all over my hands. It's all over everything.
Back in 2013, St. Joseph Peninsula was our first multi-night kayak camping trip. Because until that point, we had only done one-night trips. We drove down and spent the night at the Gulf Breeze campground. The next morning, we paddled 5 miles to the tip of the peninsula from the Wilderness Preserve put-in near the cabins. Back then, they only had 7 primitive campsites, and we stayed at Site 7 at the end of the Wilderness Trail. That trip was extremely windy, which made paddling and life at the campsite pretty miserable.
These are the winds of St. Joe. Start around 8 p.m. Won't stop until almost noon. Continuous all night long. Here's our makeshift wind block for our fire. The beautiful St. Joe sunrise.
We spent 2 nights at Campsite 7 and went each night to see the sunset on the Gulf side. And paddled back to the truck on the 3rd day. Our original plan was to spend the night at the Gulf Breeze campground again. But after we arrived back at the truck, we hiked with our gear to the site closest to the parking lot to have one last night of primitive camping. And we were so happy we did. We look back at that trip as one of our favorites, and it's easy to see why. Needless to say, by this point, we were at our wits' end when it came to the constant wind, and the weather forecast said it would only get worse. So that afternoon, we decided to move campsites and packed up to leave Site 14. So hopefully you can hear this. There's not too much wind here. We had to leave Site 14 because it was extremely windy. So we're here at 9, 10, 11, and 12 to kind of check out those and see what they look like, see if we might want to stay there tonight. But anything is better than that wind we had there. Feels like it's about 5 miles an hour right here.
Yeah, it's pretty brisk.
So that paddle was nice because the wind was at our left shoulder. I kept having to look left though to make sure there wasn't a rogue wave.
Oh yeah, it was much less than last time.
Yeah, so you can see it's a lot calmer. We're gonna go check out 9, 10, 11, and 12. To see our separate video on the St. Joseph's Peninsula primitive campsites, click on the link above. After exploring sites 9, 10, 11, and 12, we took the short trail west to get our first glimpse of the Gulf of Mexico. Since there wasn't much shade at sites 9 through 12, we decided to keep paddling south to sites 5 and 6. We just made it to 5, so we think. And oh, there we said it says 5 right there. So gonna check and see what this is all about. Hopefully it's doable.
I thought it was that.
I did too.
Which, you know, not much better, but
This is not bad at all. At least there's shade.
yeah. Little trees for you. I went to Books A Million the other day after brunch. And there was a book in there that I have on my list, Bomber's Mafia, Malcolm Gladwell book, and it was like $7 or something like that. I was like, oh. But then I looked on thrift books and it's $5, so I can get it used for cheaper than that. And then I didn't have to wait in line and all that. And there was another book that had really good reviews. It was about a murder in Mississippi or something, but it was a new release and it was a hardback. $35.
Jeez,
For a book.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Originally wrecked that are on the island. Another ship wrecked on the same island, and so they, I guess they're on the same island. It says 20 miles from each other. But man, can you imagine that? Like
Wasn't that one like off the coast of New Zealand or something?
Yeah, Auckland
Yeah.
Island or something like that.
Have you looked at a Google Maps? You gotta do that. Because you know that hut thing is still there. Yeah, that's what's wild.
So it's about an hour before sunset, heading towards campsite 6. We think this is the campsite that we camped at 11 years ago. Yeah, so it was
Back then these were all alive.
yes, all the trees here were alive. They're all dead now and perfect firewood. So we're gonna go check out the sunset and see if this site brings us any memories. Yeah, it's a lot more overgrown.
This was it though. Remember the dune right there? I was here. Maybe a year. A year over there. Still be over there. Cup after cup after cup of water. It's like I have 7 gallons left. That wind, it is insane.
So it's day number 3. It's still windy, but it's not as windy as it was. We're at campsite 5 now, and I slept till 10 a.m., so that was interesting. But we're just gonna relax and hang out at the campsite, probably head to the beach here on the trail, and hopefully the wind will die down a little bit so we can go swimming. back at camp site 5. Just got back from the beach. It's a very relaxing day at the beach. It wasn't really a day, it was a couple hours, but swimming and other stuff, so it's good stuff. So we're just gonna relax here for the rest of the night and probably drink a little wine and relax and start a fire. Moving from 14 was a major decision. It's been much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I think we would have been miserable.
Yep. I know we would have. I was like, well, I'm just going to spend most of my time over here behind this bush, because otherwise it was nice over there.
Well, I kept seeing you like trying to stick your chair behind that tarp, and it's like, man, there's really no getting away from this. If you want to be near the fire or be near your stuff.
Or, yeah, in a hammock or like somewhere not, like you said, scrunched up behind something. Gas range or camp stove. Set flame at medium. Okay. Place pan on burner. When sizzling sound is heard, continuously shake pan in very fast circular and back and forth motions until foil is fully expanded, 4 to 7 minutes. Immediately remove pan from burner when popping sounds almost stop. Yeah, that's exactly what we thought should happen.
It's definitely on medium now. Actually, it's probably on high.
Probably
right
high,
now.
yeah. Probably need to let that simmer.
So we'll let it go down a little bit.
You couldn't even hear it. I guess because it's like congealed butter.
Yeah, it must be. Day 4. Just kind of relaxed at camp for a little bit. Gonna head out to see site 7 and 8. So walking from campsite 5 where we are, 6 is pretty close to it. 7 is a little bit farther. I think it's about a half a mile farther. But this road is called, this trail is called Cabin Road. We were told by one of the rangers that there was an old military camp somewhere on this peninsula. So we found a lot of bullets. Josh thinks they're tracer bullets. So that's pretty cool. We think it's from the 1940s. Not real sure, but kind of done some little research while we've been on the island, or while we've been on the peninsula, to determine that it could be from the 1940s. So it's pretty cool.
So we're at mile 1, a little past mile 1.5 on the cabin trail, the trail that goes up the center of the peninsula. And we are in mid-October, and it's maybe high 70s, but there's no clouds in the sky, and there is 0 shade on this entire trail.
To see our separate video on the St. Joseph's Peninsula primitive campsites, click on the link above. After hiking north to see Campsite 8, we headed west towards the Gulf of Mexico.
Gulf of Mexico. Woo. How's it feel?
Feels amazing.
It's probably 60 something degrees.
Like 70, low 70s.
Yeah.
I guess.
But with the breeze, it makes it feel a lot colder.
Yeah.
But coming from that hot, unshaded trail makes a big difference.
Looking back now, feeling strange. We all learn to be someone. What happens next? What happens next? Won't pretend to know. What happens next? I heard you say to love is to let go. Turning out the light again while I wrestle what's within, looking out for a friend. What's the one rule we forgot? Say the story or the plot. Something new is overdue. What happens next? What happens next? Won't pretend to know. What happens next? I heard you say to love is to let go.
So with another trip in the books, St. Joseph's Peninsula did not disappoint. Its pristine beaches, crystal clear waters, and towering sand dunes are not just sights to behold. They are invitations to explore, to unwind, and to reconnect with what truly matters.
What happens next? 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 I heard you say to love is to let go. What happens next?
This amazing place will always be a constant memory in our minds, but not as constant as the winds of St. Joe.